What is your secret that you can't tell anyone because it will probably ruin your life? I don't think it would ruin my life currently, but here we go. When I was a kid in elementary, I was molested by one of the tutors at my school and said nothing happened when confronted about it by school officials. I had a lot of problems with learning when I was growing up, so I often needed extra help. The elementary school had people come in as tutors for kids, and we'd all get like an hour once a week to catch up on things we didn't understand in class. My tutor there was this young guy, and at first I thought he was one of the coolest people I could ever meet. He would tell stories about going on cool hiking trips, scuba diving, and even running in a marathon. He'd bring snacks all the time and once even brought me a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, and I couldn't help but look up to him. Things got weird after a few weeks, and it started with him becoming super touchy, but I didn't mind. I looked at him like a cool older brother. It eventually got to the point where I knew it wasn't normal, and I began to feel awful when I was around him. He would tell me to give him massages because his body hurt and my touch would help him. To make everything short and nondescript, I touched places a child definitely should not touch. One day I got called to the front office and they asked me strange questions regarding his teaching style. I think they noticed I wasn't actually improving in any of my classes. The next day I was called in again, but he was there too. Essentially, they were confronting me about not getting better at reading or basic mathematics. His demeanor changed in this setting. He told them I wasn't trying hard enough and that I might have a disorder like ADHD. I didn't look at him the entire time and I felt like crying because I was disappointing the adults in my life. They even talked about telling my mom. After he left, I think the counselor noticed how weird I was and asked me if Mr. Insert last name treated me badly or did things adults shouldn't do. I lied immediately, without thought in my head. If I told them, then I'd get in trouble too, or they would have thought I was gay. She took my word and I left. The next week, when I saw him again, he was an entirely different person. He was much quieter and passive-aggressive. In fact, he pretended he barely knew me when he had been tutoring me for almost the entire year. After that year he switched schools and I never saw him again. No one knows what happened, and I was convinced my family members would call me gay if I told them, or even punish me for letting something like that happen. I didn't have the greatest childhood. We were struggling and I had no father, so I didn't have the luxury of a decent male figure in my life. I'm currently in therapy and I'm contemplating telling my therapist because I'm having some issues with my sexuality and I'm not coping in the safest ways, but I still feel bad because I really did think he was the coolest man I've ever met in my childhood, despite what happened.